performance in public?
Well, this is my first carnival ever, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Everybody loves it.
Thanks, sir. A lot of people. Oh, well, it gives the people a outing. Look at running. Any athletic competition is good for any state, I think.
A full 7 years before the modern Olympic Games were revived in Athens in 1896, the crowds were streaming through the gates at the Tasmanian Christmas Carnivals. It's a tradition that has survived for over 130 years through a special blend of running, track cycling and wood chopping.
Is this one of the most important running events in Australia?
This would be very close to it, yes. I think obviously Store with Easter would obviously be the carnival in Australia, perhaps the Bendigo Thousand also, Wangaratta and this one.
Do you think there's a greater interest in running, foot running in Tasmania at this time?
There is this year, for sure, more than there has been for the last 4 or 5, I'd say.
Many congratulations on winning the Tasmanian Thousand for 1969. It's been a wonderful year for you, and I hope that your running career doesn't end with this event. But even if it does, that there'll be a great encouragement given to many other young people who can come onto this track and grace it as you've done tonight. Many congratulations, Les, on a splendid win. How much money have you gained from this prize?
$1,500.
That's a lot of money. How old are you, Don?
18.
So $1,500 in your 18 years. That's a very big night for you, isn't it? Tell me, when you were finishing the race, were you worried at all? Did anyone worry you particularly?
I wasn't worried after turning the straight.
Once you got there, you felt you'd won.
Yeah.
And what did you think about when you came into the straight?
Just about winning, that's all.
You were set on winning. Did you feel confident before you started?
I was fairly confident at the start, and as the race went on, I got more confident.
For nearly a century, the competitive side of the carnivals was the exclusive domain of males. But over the last 30 years, females have taken a sometimes rocky path towards equality of recognition and prizes. After it was open entry in the very early years, only so-called professional runners and cyclists were eligible to compete until the carnivals became open to all again from the mid-1980s. That's all provided some special moments.
Craig Brown, the local boy, is going to win the 1985 Fairford Courage by about a mile and a half.
Well, we're here with Noel Pearce, one of the board members of the Tas Carnivals. And Noel, what's your favourite memory from the Christmas Carnivals over the years?
It'd have to be the 1977 Burnie Wheel Race, where Danny Clark came from an unwinnable position in the last couple of laps to win by the smallest of margins over Craig Price, and I'm not sure who third was. It was the most phenomenal ride I've ever seen.
Craig Price, listen to the crowd roar. Danny Clark still out after them. Bishop's out in front, followed by Craig Price. Danny Clark picking them up with every turn of the pedal. Bishop out in front. He's followed by Craig Price. It's Bishop, Craig Price. Danny Clark trying to pick them up. It's Bishop, Craig Price. Danny Clark, he goes to runs. You would not believe it. You wouldn't believe it. Danny Clark has won the Burnie Wheel Race. It's just unbelievable. He was 150 metres behind them with 1 lap to go.
Well, Ian Maher, a famous voice in Australian cycling circles. What is your best memory of the Christmas Carnivals?
By gee, I go back a long time because I've only been coming to Tassie for 5 years doing the carnivals, but over in Victoria, like the Danny Clarks, the Sid Pattersons back in my era. But since coming to Tasmania, my biggest memory is when Sam Welsford won the Burnie Wheel Race. He went for the 3rd time, but the 2nd time he won it, I had the crowd on their feet as he stormed to the win. So Sam Welsford, we know what he's gone on to be, but Sam Welsford in Tasmania, my biggest memory.
What's been your most memorable Christmas Carnival experience?
Oh, when you call for almost 40 years, I was the TAL caller for 38 years. But I think my favourite story was Kathy Freeman winning the 93 gift out here. The Devonport Athletic Club in their wisdom decided to bring Kathy over and run it from scratch, but also to make the... they realised it was 1993, not 1893, and had equal prize money for the women and the men. And Kathy just running up that home straight down the red top and just getting up in what is still a record time was probably the highlight of my calling career.
What's your highlight of the Tasmanian Christmas Carnivals?
Kathy Freeman in 1993, when she won the Devonport gift off scratch, it was an incredible performance. She came here as a bit of an unknown, just straight after a Commonwealth Games as a 16-year-old, and the crowd went berserk. They was banging the fence, and also she was someone very, very special. I saw her sit over at the cricket club with a 200 metre of kids, and she signed autographs for an hour and a half. That sort of stuff, we don't see much of that anymore.
Well, we're with the doyen of world athletics in Tasmania, Brian Rowe. Brian, no doubt you've got a few stories of your favourite memories of the Tasmanian Christmas Carnivals.
I do, and I guess they both relate to the opening up of athletics to amateurs and pros, which came after 1986. And perhaps one of the funniest early opportunities is that the old system of the pros regarded Gary Honey as a novice, despite him having an Olympic silver medal and a Commonwealth Games gold medal or two at that stage. And he was able to run in the maiden at Burnie, required to run in the maiden at Burnie, and only when he won it was there then a question of whether he was really a novice. That did cause controversy that went throughout the day. So probably a bit self-indulgent for someone that was involved in that process, but one of the oddities of carnival running.
And in modern times, you have a newer memory to share?
Again, I'll be self-indulgent because when we were looking for an extra carnival competition a couple of years ago, we created an event at Penguin, the smallest town in the world, I believe, with an synthetic athletics track. And in the dying days of that year, Stewie McSwain ran the fastest mile in the world that year, and it caused a sensation all over the world, A, because it happened at that time of year, and B, because of the name of the venue.
Well, there's no more authority figure in Tasmanian athletics and probably Australian athletics, and one of, indeed, the world. Brian Rowe, thanks for sharing.
Pleasure.
The Tasmanian Christmas Carnival series includes Hobart, Launceston, Devonport, Burnie and St Helens, but it's the town of Rosebery on the west coast who hosts not only the perfect warm-up event for running and cycling, but also wood chopping, and the 2022 Carnival saw Cody Steers make it 10 in a row for the 400mm underhand.
Well done, Cody, 10 in a row. Stephen Foster second.
Rosebery is also known for the iconic sport of rock drilling. The event sees strong men from the local mines going head-to-head as they drill through, well, rock. The legendary David Butler and Colin Fellows were arch rivals for over 30 years, with both winning a record 10 times apiece. Sadly, due to COVID, the event is in recess. But maybe Butler and Fellows can be back in 2023 for one last time.
We're off and racing. Our back marker, Chelsea Scollier, got out well. So
with no rock drilling, the focus was on the track. We pick it up with a women's 100-metre gift.
And the runners at the moment is the two back markers. In Beja, Robin Locke in the black. Chelsea Scollier's taken that one out. Our back marker. Brendan in the black out smartly. That's our front marker. Then we'll look at our back marker. That's Ross Lovell in the red. He's running strongly. Toby Camphor showing some fast feet. Here comes Taj singled in the blue. But Logan James is coming through. Smart holding on. Smart James. Oh, too close to call for mine. Away they go now. It's Varney that leads. Susan Strata.
With Chelsea Scollier and Logan James taking out the 100-metre gifts, attention turned to the cycling track, which only recently underwent significant repairs from major event sponsor MMG, the identification of a potential landslip zone in the picturesque West Coast venue.
Varney at the moment, around the outside of him. I can't quite pick that up. I think it might be one of the Taylor boys. Taylor goes around the outside of Oscar Varney. Suzanne Stratus, what a ride by Suzanne, ladies and gentlemen. Suzanne Stratus, she might even get up for second here. Varney goes for the second time, and taking it out, number 11 is John Taylor. John Taylor takes out the MMG Rosebery wheel.
Well, today we're in Hobart for the 42nd edition of the Hobart Bikes and Spikes. It's going to be an amazing day of racing in the men's sprints in particular. Tasmania's three fastest men ever, with Jack Hale, Jacob Despard and Jacob Pybus up against Aaron Stubbs and Josh Azzopardi, member of the 4x100 metre relay team at the Commonwealth Games this year. Then in the cycling, we've got 30 athletes from 12 different nations across the men's and the women's, vying in races from 1,000 metres up to the scratch race over 10 miles. Of course, the wheel races for the men and women in between will be the big ones, with $1,300 up for grabs in each of those. It's a big day of racing here at the 42nd edition of the Hobart Bikes and Spikes. Bikes and Spikes has been run by the Hobart Athletic Club since 1981, largely driven via the passion of local legend Ray Quarrell, who, over a 50-year career, has coached some 40 gift winners around Tasmania, including 2013 Stall gift winner Andrew Robinson.
We can see some unbelievably credentialed backmarkers here. 3 of these 6 men have represented our country. Oh, great start from the field here as Gilroy leads them out. Rigby now gets right up and Rigby's pulled up. McKenna now goes up to challenge. Gilroy's still got the lead. Jesse McKenna hits the front and wins easily from Jacob Despard and perhaps Jack Hale for third. But Jesse McKenna, the Victorian, we talked about that second place in the Bernie gift. Well, he's come back to Tasmania hungry. And from New South Wales, she looks fantastic in the heats and semi-finals. Can she get it done here today? It's Jade Johnson Matriska, the back marker in the red, trained by Rob Marks. Away pretty well was Isabel Gray. She goes up to challenge Amy Petter, our leader. Coming through the field nicely now is the white of Laura McShane and Johnson Matriska coming at them. Petter still in front. Gray going up to challenge. Gray, I think, in the greens got up. So Isabel Gray, the youngster, has held them out here from the 9.25 metre mark. What a victory! As she gets a stablemate, Emma Grubb, who gives her a big hug, and what a performance. She's really presented herself in magnificent shape here today.
As they come through now, our front grunts are going to greet the judge with 2 to go. 2 to go at this point, and bib number 31 leads them through, flick of the elbow. That is rider number 31, Jessie Sawyer, then goes through to Liz-Anne Wilmot, and they're starting to almost ride as if they're standing still. Come on, girls, you need to get going. You're not on the roller, you're on the track. You need to start moving. Back markers are coming. Up goes Christina Clonan, and she leaves it now for Lauren Perry. Lauren Perry, in behind her is Wayne Yeong or Mohammed Zabir from Malaysia off 100 metres. So they come through now and they get up out of the saddle. First up is Eugenia Rock, and away she goes. She leads them through, so they grab the bell with 1 to go. Eugenia Rock, Suzanne Stratus in second wheel. Here comes Lauren Perry and a rider from Malaysia, Mohammed Zabir. Mohammed Zabir sitting right on Lauren Perry's wheel at the moment. Perry's looking over her right shoulder and Zabir's right there. Then we go back to Amalia Langham. She looks over the right-hand side. She can't see anyone coming at this point. Next Malaysian rider who comes up the outside, Wayne Yeo, and it's Zabir and Yeo, and then Malia Langham. Lauren Perry holding him off. Has she got enough to take a second? Hobart will. Lauren Perry on the inside, Zabir on the top. Lauren Perry takes it out. 2 and 2 years for Lauren Perry, our junior world champion, individual pursuit and team pursuit champion.